With the Executor under my command, I will be the ultimate power in the universe.
You are in command now, Admiral Piet.
Thank you, Lord Vader.
Well, so much for that.
Against the flagship of the Imperial fleet, the Super Star Destroyer Executor.
Legend has it that Vader's last flagship, the Executor, was the longest ship in galactic history, and it was certainly the longest during the Galactic Civil War at 19 kilometers in length. And it was by far one of the most powerful, armed with 2,000 heavy turbo laser batteries, 2,000 turbo laser batteries, 250 concussion missile tubes, 250 heavy ion cannons, 500 point defense laser cannons, and 40 tractor beams. It was capable of reducing any planetary surface into slag in a matter of hours, and its mere presence was enough to frighten entire star systems to fall in line with the Empire's demands. The Executor was designed by famed Kuat Drive Yard's designer Lyra Wessex, who also designed the Imperial-class Star Destroyer. The Imperial Star Destroyer was designed not only to serve as a battleship for the Republic Navy during the Clone Wars, followed shortly thereafter by the Imperial Navy, but was also designed to instill a sense of fear with its 1,600-meter size, and would force an enemy to either run or surrender, and this factored heavily into Lyra's mind when designing the Executor and its subsequent class. However, the term Super Star Destroyer wasn't an official label, and actually came about from the Imperial Navy under Palpatine's direction, to hide the true scope of the dreadnought by listing the vessel as a superclass Star Destroyer on the naval budget, which even reported an incorrect size of the ship so oversight committees couldn't discover its size and purpose and relay that information to early rebel sympathizers within the Imperial Senate. Despite Kuat Drive Yards building most of the Imperial Navy's capital ships, the lead flagship of the Empire and the lead ship of the Executor-class Dreadnought line was actually built by the Fondor shipyards. The reason for this was the aforementioned secrecy demanded by the Empire, and a second Super Star Destroyer was started at the Kuat shipyards. It too was named Executor so that the Navy could hide the existence of there being two Super Star Destroyers under construction simultaneously. This second dreadnought would later be known as the Lusankya and buried on Coruscant once completed, leaving both Fondor and Kuat to say that they were the builders of Vader's flagship in the years to come. As a result of the secrecy of the project, the Empire closed off the Fondor system to all civilian traffic, as well as any civilian shipyard contracts, angering Fondor. However, the scale of the Executor did prove to consume all of Fondor's resources, and thus it was hoped by Fondor's leaders that if they met the Empire's expectations, they'd be able to steal other military contracts from their Kuat competitors. The Executor, however, wasn't built in the Fondor system itself early on, but was built in the Scarl system, just a couple parsecs from Fondor, with large cargo fleets hauling loads of construction material for the thousands of construction droids that built the mammoth vessel in secrecy. The system itself was known to be just a red dwarf star, so no one other than the Empire had a reason to be in the system, thus ensuring further security. Construction of much of the ship's hull was completed by the time Vader took up residence of sorts to train his secret apprentice Galen Merrick, also known as Starkiller. The ship would soon be the permanent home of Galen, who would train with Vader in a concealed level in the underside of the ship that would be removed from the ship's floor plans so that none of the crew would even notice it. The ship would later see Vader seemingly betraying Galen when Emperor Palpatine and his fleet of 3 Star Destroyers arrived to confront Vader about his apprentice. After Starkiller's ultimate departure from the ship, the Executor's construction slowed down as more resources were funneled into the first Death Star. And while some like Admiral Conan Monty declared the Death Star to be the ultimate power in the universe, and that super star destroyers like the Executor would be mere troop transports, carriers, and planetary bombardment platforms, despite the Death Star also being declared to render such operations useless. Others, however, like General Tage, would feel differently. General Tage would prove correct after the Death Star's destruction at the Battle of Yavin, and the Executor became the Empire's top priority. To increase the speed with which the massive dreadnought was built, the Executor was towed from the Skarl system to the shipyards around Fondor, which had been nationalized by the Empire at this point, and rather than using construction droids exclusively, living crews were brought in to aid in the construction. Security around the construction site was tight, going so far as to have the fleets patrolling the system to destroy any unauthorized civilian ships attempting to gain access to the shipyards and the Executor's construction site specifically. This would prove difficult as the number of freighters delivering construction materials prompted Admiral Griff, the man in charge of the Executor's construction, to add additional shipping lanes to help deal with the heavier than usual traffic. Despite the need for heavy security, the Fondor's systems governor would loosen security restrictions on the shipyard workers and granted generous benefits to the non-human workers as a way to prevent sabotage and other slowdowns to keep from being punished by Emperor Palpatine. This had the desired effect on his workforce. However, this made the Executor vulnerable to external saboteurs, namely a group of 5 ambitious and traitorous Imperial admirals. However, that's a story for an entire video in itself. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have suggestions on what you'd like to see next, be sure to say so down below in the comments. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you didn't like the video, be sure to hit the dislike button to provide me with feedback. Also, if you want to receive a notification as to when I publish a new video, do be sure to click that bell notification button as well. And if you'd like to support the channel outside of watching, subscribing, commenting, liking, or disliking this video, you can do so by supporting me on Patreon with the link down below in the video description. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.